Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the OASIS workshop at EIC 2017. My name's Mike Small, and I'm an analyst with Cuppinger Cole. And it gives me great pleasure once again to welcome OASIS to our annual event in Munich. And in particular, this is a special event for me because my old friend and ex-colleague John Sabo has been rabbiting on about privacy for many, many years, well before it was the flavour of the month. And there is no doubt that a nice bit of legislation focuses the mind. And in this particular case, the General Data Protection Regulation has caused a flurry of activity, not only in Europe, but around the world on the subject of privacy. And so what organizations are going to need more and more are the tools that are necessary in order to actually achieve the requirements of this particular legislation. And I'm glad to say that under the leadership of John and the worldwide touch of OASIS, it looks like we are going to get some standards and perhaps even some technology to help. So with that, what I'm going to do is to hand over to Gershon, who will give a detailed breakdown of the procedures for the day. So thank you very much, and over to you, Gershon.
So hello, good morning to this pre-conference workshop. This is a workshop organized by OASIS, and as Mike just said, this is not the first year we're at one of these Cuppinger events. I think this is our fifth or sixth year we're actually talking about privacy standards and the implementation of privacy within software applications and landscapes. And especially this year, I'm quite excited about what we have to talk about, and quite excited about the things we'd like to convey to you in terms of privacy engineering and developments. Certainly also pushed by the adoption of the GDPR regulation, we started to think in our technical committees about how can we actually use our materials in such a way that it's more practical and it helps organizations around the world in order to implement the GDPR. Now, me as an individual, I've been participating in the OASIS privacy management technical committees for quite a while. About 8 or 9 years ago within OASIS we started a technical committee, and at that time I joined the technical committee as one of the members, and over time I grew to the secretary of the committee, as I've been very active together with John. My role within OASIS has grown at large because I'm currently the chairman of the board of directors, and I overlook all of the standards development we're doing worldwide. And privacy and security are actually quite a few of the important development tracks we run within OASIS. And with that, it's of great pleasure to talk about this, because I see how over the years things got adopted and actually get more traction within the market. So this morning we would like to give you an overview of what we've been doing in the last couple of years, and at what point, tipping point basically, we are right now in order to make this more practical to everyone, and consider this more like a set of tools to kickstart your GDPR compliance implementation. Now, with me I have a couple of interesting speakers. As Mike just said, we have John Sabo, who works within OASIS as the chairman of the Privacy Management Reference Model Technical Committee, the PMRM as we call it. We also have Professor Dawn Jutla, who joined OASIS a couple of years ago. She's a professor at the St. Mary's University in Canada, and also a CEO of a small company doing blockchain technologies. Dawn came to OASIS as one of the people who was very enthusiastic about privacy by design. We started a technical committee called Privacy by Design for Software Engineers, which attracted quite a good crowd. We had the former Privacy Commissioner of Ontario, Anne Kavoukian, who is also the inventor of the Privacy by Design concept, participating in that specific technical committee and working on the first specifications that came out of that. Dawn will talk about privacy engineering later on this morning. And we also have Antonio Kung, who joined us from Prepare and Trilog, the company he works for, in which he is very active in privacy standards and privacy developments within the international standard setting scene. With all of this information together, we at a technical committee last year were thinking about how can we actually make this more practical and use all these specifications in a better way. So we started thinking about building actual tools one can use to do your privacy management analysis. One can use to determine if you are compliant. One can use to visualize what is actually needed in order to analyze your software landscapes. And we started a tool project, an open source tool project within our technical committee. And at the end of the workshop, so hang in there because we're going to show you quite a few interesting things. We developed a couple of basic designs already, which we would like to show you on how such a tool can actually help run through a privacy management analysis and show you visualizations of what is required in order to implement things like consent. So that's basically the outline of the agenda this morning and the different topics we would like to talk about with our speakers. On that last note, the Toolset Development Project is Gershon Jansson. That's a difficult Dutch name. We call him CJ. It's way more easy to pronunciate. He is a developer and he got very enthusiastic about privacy and is the developer who is supporting the development activities within our technical committee and will actually speak about this Toolset project later on this morning. Now, to start off with a couple of practical things. We do have a couple of flyers on which we detail out a couple of main items we're going to speak about this morning. They're available at the back and the front of the room. As you can see by the cameras in the middle of the room, this session is also recorded. It's mainly the speakers who are in front of the camera, but if you ask questions, and please do, because this is a workshop, so we invite interactive comments, and whenever you feel a need to ask a question, please raise your hand. Your voice is probably getting recorded, so we ask your consent in order to record your voice and include this in the recordings. If you have an issue, please let us know and we'll cut you out or arrange that your question is not included in the video. With that, I would like to introduce the next speaker, which is John, and he's going to give us a general overview of the privacy landscape by the analogy of the global battlefield, as he calls it. Thank you very much.